So, in the midst of what seems kind of like a chaotic, up and down kind of world right now, Bridget, why do you feel that a lot of people are coming forth to share their stories?
I think it's got a lot to do with wanting to help others. A lot of people have this desire to express themselves in a way that they can reach more people. And a book can do that because books go, you know, internationally. And Amazon has created this platform for us where we can deliver things to people worldwide. And creating a book is one way to reach more people and allow them to feel the help that you want to give to others.
Yeah, and it's such an intimate thing too to share your story. I think do you feel it has anything to do with like the COVID and how everything broke us open and now it's like all this inside of us wants to come out and be shared?
I think more so that people love group containers now more so than they did before because of COVID. Wanting that human connection and being able to connect with others on that deeper level, the group containers are really. I see them filling up more than ever before COVID, and I do believe that a lot of people found their voice during COVID as well. Because they were forced into a situation where they might have to speak about things online to actually be heard because they couldn't go to their friend's house to be heard, or they couldn't go to their parents' house to be heard. So, in a sense, they now have these stories that they can share, and putting it into a book is a great platform to do it in. So, yes, I think COVID has changed it. I believe that the stats have changed to from 1% of the population have published work to 1.8% have published work now.
1.8. Woohoo. It's moving on up. So Bridget, I would love for you to share what do you do and who do you serve?
So at the Art of Grace Publishing House, we share the stories of people to impact the lives of others so that they can see and create change in their own lives. I serve both men and women, and it's a powerful way to allow people to have a platform to share their stories. We publish both solo and multi author books, and the stories that we share really are about the life that you've had and the lessons that you've learned that can help others to then change their current reality.
And so what really got you started in this? Because I know everyone's got a backstory. So was it have you always been a writer or what got you started on this, Bridget?
I wouldn't say I was always a writer, no. Um,
Mhm.
I do believe that everybody is a writer, though. If you can speak, you can write. And how I got started was my business coach at the time said to me, I have so many clients that say they want to write a book and they never get the opportunity to. So I'm going to do a multi author book. Would you like to do it? And at that time, I was a heck yes to anything that she put out. So I jumped in and contributed to her first multi author book. And then after sharing that story, I received 137 messages from women saying, I can't believe I'm not the only one. Thank you for sharing your story. I can now talk about how I felt because you talked about how you felt. It was so impactful on me. I was like, how do I now uh, create more momentum? How do I reach more people? How do I let these stories impact more people? And that was where the publishing house was born. So, yeah, it was that feedback from readers that I received, people that I didn't even know. And, I counted them. So 137 messages and still so dear
Wow.
to me, that first impact. Yeah, that's how I got
I mean,
started.
if that's not like the universe going, "Hello, Bridget, this is what you're gonna be doing."
No,
That's
message after message
amazing.
after message. Yeah, it was amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
Absolutely. And so what I'm really drawn to, because obviously, I have, published a book and I
Mm.
did it through a team. So there was a lady and then there was someone who did the uploading and all the manuscript stuff for Amazon and then someone who did the cover. So it was like a team thing.
Yep.
And it was really interesting. But what I liked and what I'm really drawn towards with yours is that you call it intuitive storytelling. And so I'd like you to dive a little bit into that and share a little bit about your version of intuitive storytelling.
I love that you asked that question, Teresa, because I'm really passionate about people telling their story from their heart space and not their head space. It's about really getting to that vulnerable point and allowing yourself to connect within to actually create the bigger impact. You connect energetically with your reader before you've even started writing your book. And you allow your reader to energetically connect with you because you're more open with using the words from your heart space rather than your head space. I don't know if you're aware, the Heart Math Institute has this process. It's called heart congruence. And I
Mhm.
do that every time before I write. And I actually share it with my authors. Not all of them use it. You've got to have this way where you're going to connect within to yourself before you start writing. And that way you get more into writing flow. You also allow yourself to not overthink what you're trying to share. And the stories that you come out with are really powerful, and the vulnerability in there is so genuine and authentic that people can't help but to resonate with it. So that's why I like to call it intuitive storytelling, because it's from within you, and our intuition is within all of us, and that's why I call it that. Thank you for asking that question. I've never been asked that
Okay, so
before.
that's why I've been drawn to you, Bridget, because clearly you got that down, girl. Because, yeah, I mean, and I understand too how really a book is alive. A book has there's energy within a book. There's energy within the author, creating the book and then bringing it out into the world. And it's really to me, it's a living, entity in the sense of that there's energy within it. So accessing the heart math, that's brilliant. I absolutely love it. Have you always been doing this, or when did you really pull in the heart math?
So I have been doing that for probably 7 or 8 years, I think it is now. Yeah, it's something that I learned in a spiritual course that I did, and I really went down a rabbit hole with it. The Heart Math Institute is an incredible organization where, the neurons in our heart are greater than the neurons in our brain, and if we start to think from here as opposed to from here, you lead with love every time, and your life is easier, and things become clearer to you sooner than they perhaps would have if you thought from here all the time. It's really interesting to see how my life's changed since I started doing that, and how my connection with others has changed as well.
Have
Mm.
you noticed, since you do access this ability within the heart and not just working with the head, have you noticed that certain types of books come your way than other books? Like,
Yeah,
say, more
absolutely.
spiritual books or more, there's all kinds of books.
Yeah, absolutely. People who really want to share their soul, they really want to, it's that impact they want to make from their life's lessons to others, and to change the current reality of other people's lives. I find that those stories come to me all the time, frequently. I just had a call yesterday with a gentleman who, went through divorce 3 years ago, and he is wanting to share how to go through divorce with grace and still come out, and be kind and have a co-parenting relationship with your ex, and how you can still lead the family as the man, in traditional sense, when you are separated from the wife and you have children. It's just a beautiful context that he put it into that really encompasses everything that we do. You want to have this ease and grace in your life, and I find that those stories frequently come to me for publishing. Yeah.
And I'm sure that, it's obviously the resonance, right? Your energy that you put out there that comes back to you. So the people that are more in their heart centered and more, authentic in the way they will. And, it's just a resonance. I mean, you attract them to you.
Yeah, absolutely. I call those
Mhm.
people into me. I really want to work with those who are intuitively guided, or want to be able to express from their heart space and not their head space, and really want to make this lifetime better for everyone, not just for themselves.
So I'd like to talk a little bit about a solo book, which is what I did, and then there's lots and lots of people who are doing the multi-author book. So can you share a little bit about the difference in your perspective and yeah, just the difference?
Yeah, absolutely, Teresa. It's multi-author book is like dipping your toe in the water, or for those who believe that they have not enough time, because you and I know that we can change time and change our choices around time and what it looks like, and how we can actually create more time. So it's for those people that think that they don't have enough time. They want to dip their toe in. They're not quite sure whether they could write a book. So testing the water with actually trying to just share one story in a small chapter, which is usually 3 to 4,000 words, is really useful for those type of people. Others who don't believe that their story needs to be in a whole book also like to share their story in a multi-author book. So that process also brings you into a group container where you get to know the other authors. Connections and lifelong friends are made from that. I've been in 15 multi-author books myself, contributed to 15 multi-author books
One
myself.
5, 15.
Yeah,
Oh
15.
my gosh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
Wow.
Number 16 will be coming soon. I do contribute to some of the multi-author books that I put out, not all of them, but some of them. Yeah, so it's something I feel into to see if it's right for me. But solo book, on the other hand, is really the project where one person is the driving force behind the book, and they share whatever stories and lessons in life that they want to share, or they have a theme for the whole book. Hmm.
Interesting, because as you're talking about this, I have a friend that wrote a book, a multi-author book last year. And it was interesting because she does a lot of traumatic work. And each of the person in there kind of had a resonance like that too. So it's just interesting that you're saying that. And I just get a sense of how it can really be beneficial to people, like you're saying, who maybe don't want to write a whole book because it's a lot of work, right?
Hmm.
And also maybe just want to, just tap into a story or some aspect of what they do or what they've gone through.
Yeah.
And so that really makes sense in a big way.
Yeah, multi-author books usually have a theme that they stick to.
Mhm.
One of the ones we've done is called F Motherhood, and it's all about motherhood and the different types of mothering that there is, and the different experiences that people have as mothers. So it's all the stories are to do with motherhood. And then Hear Her Roar, which was the uh, successful women who've experienced domestic abuse. Everybody's been touched by domestic abuse in some way. It didn't mean that that person may have experienced domestic abuse. Most of them had, but it could have been as a child. They witnessed it. So, things like that. So it was really impactful to have the collective, so that then somebody who's experiencing these things can actually resonate with the different people that are within the book, in the multi-author book.
That's super cool. And I'm thinking when you starts talking about that, like the chicken soul books, like for
Yeah.
teenagers and for this and for that, and how a lot of those were, I think those are also multi-author books too, aren't they? The chicken soul
Yeah,
books.
yeah, they
Yeah.
are. Yeah,
Yeah. That's
yeah.
super cool.
Yeah, and then we have
So,
the intuitive series too, all about
oh,
intuition and connecting to your intuition. So we're up to number 4 now.
oh my gosh, that's awesome. Yeah, I've seen it on your profile on Facebook and stuff. And
Yeah.
so I didn't quite know what that was about, but that's super cool.
Yeah, yeah, it
So
is.
have you personally penned a book yourself?
I am still in the process. My book seems to get pushed to the back of the list, or every time I get a new author, I go, "Oh, I really want to get this book out." Like, yeah. So I'm actually writing a book on how to write a book
Oh, I like it. Oh, that's perfect.
from here, not from here.
Right. Perfect. So Bridget, let's go down a little bit with the process you use with people. So you mentioned groups, but I'd like you to share a little bit about, like, say someone's listening to this and they're like, I would like to learn more about you, or learn more about, maybe I have something in me to get out. What's the process that you go down?
So for a solo book, we do the How to Write Your Solo Book program, which is a 11 module program, and we do that live at the moment. We may not continue to do it live forever. It is a small group container where we go through a process of uh, how to do it from your heart space and not your head space. And it's more about, you know, how do I get my book out there into the world and actually get people to get their eyes on my book? Because, with thousands of books, there's 20,000 books released in America every day. And it is, a lot of them are now AI generated. And I don't think that that is going to last, because those books don't have a soul. and
Mhm.
they don't have a connection energetically with people. And often they're a repeat in just a different way of other books that really do have genuine substance and genuine information in them that you can really connect with. So I don't think that's going to last. I think the numbers will drop as people get used to AI, and too many people use it to write a book. So I take them through the process of doing it from their heart space, marketing it right from the beginning, because you should market your book from the day you decide you're going to write it. And we then go through those 11 modules, and then they join the writers group and they write their book in writers group. And then they can go into the Launch Your Legacy program, which is the publishing arm of that. And we go through how to publish your book. I teach them how to do it in the process so that if they decide they want to write another book, they can choose to do it on their own, or they could come back to me and do just the publishing arm. And we do the formatting and editing and all those things that need to be done with a book, make it look pretty, and, and craft the book so that it's ready. Hmm.
So do you also have like an illustrator or editor and or people, someone like that that does like the front of it?
So I work with a company that does competition and get hundreds of designs usually. The minimum I've ever got for a book cover is 50 designs. So they run a competition and I get 50 designs to choose from. And then you choose one and you narrow down exactly what you want. You might change the lighting, or you might change the image, or you might change the font. But their general idea is what you run with in the end. Yeah.
Nice. So what
Yeah.
would you say is, as being a publisher of books, what is the most challenging piece about publishing a book, or even coming together as a multi-author? What's the most challenge for people?
For the writer, the
Mhm.
biggest challenge is getting over their fear. And the biggest fear I see is that they think that their work is not good enough. Really sad. It's really sad actually, because, you know, everybody has something of value. You know this. I'm preaching to the converted.
Yes,
And
ma'am. Amen, ma'am.
yeah, and it's finding those pieces within to actually connect to, for them to actually find their voice to bring it out. Mm.
Well, it's interesting because today I was watching, Facebook has all these ads that come up, and one came up with this lady who was doing a TED Talk, and she was talking about her story, and I'm like, it was the most intense story, Bridget, ever, and I'm like, holy crap! Like, we all have a story, and obviously now we're talking about books, but like, talking about it or speaking about it or in a book, like everyone's got stories to share, and so it's so important to get them out, even but to relate yourself to someone else. I mean, I know that the fears can be all kinds of fears, right? The fear of success, or the fear of like you're saying, like, I'm not worthy enough. But when I heard her story, I'm like, holy crap, man, that was like, we all have a story. It may not be as intense as that, but it also could help someone by getting
Yeah,
it out.
absolutely. I
Mhm.
remember my grandfather, uh, in the garden at his place, he had strawberries and a mandarin tree, and we used to eat mandarins until we were sick, because he would go, eat as many as you like, don't tell mum, like it was like this little secret that he had. Then he took us to the strawberry patch and he told us a story about the witchetty grubs in the strawberry patch and how they'd eat the strawberries. And that's why some of the strawberries had holes in them. And then one day we found a witchetty grub and he cooked the witchetty grub and we ate the witchetty grub. That story remains with
Mhm.
me forever, like what a connection to him and to storytelling. And I didn't realize that I had that storytelling history until somebody asked me once, why is it that you love storytelling so much? And I think it's because of my grandfather telling us, they were probably porky pies, I don't know, but they were beautiful stories and we connected to them and he made them fun. And I think that that's part of the joy that I get, is I see that people enjoy so much in sharing their stories, and it gives them so much. You know yourself from publishing your book, your story in that book, and your lessons and the gifts that you have for the world, how empowering that is for you. It just what it does for you is just as much as what it does for the reader.
Absolutely. And I feel too that a lot of people who are contemplating, writing a book or coming into a multi-author book is just getting over that fear and knowing that, yeah, your story matters. I mean,
Yeah.
in the sense of, I think these days too, though, a lot of people in certain areas, if they gravitate towards, like what's the most intense thing? And it's like, it doesn't have to be intense. Like it could be a wonderful, uplifting story that maybe that'll be my next book, an uplifting stories. Seriously,
Yeah.
because, I mean, really, Bridget, like, trauma coaches and the dark, stuff and all these things that people talk about on that side, they kind of leave out the other side, or it's all about woo woo and magic and stuff. And it's like, no, it's not. There's polarity within everything. And so really bringing that into what, someone wants to, share about in a book is so beautiful.
It is. It is beautiful. And I think it moves the reader to action and allows them to see what's possible beyond what they're currently experiencing. If they resonate with the stories of others, it really helps them to feel that they're not alone and feel that they can get out of that current reality and move into something that's better for them, a greater life, a greater relationship, whatever it might be, a better connection to themselves and out of that fear and into more positivity, whatever it is for them, they can see it because they resonate with the stories that are shared within books. Yeah.
Beautiful. So let's chat a little bit about how do people get in touch with you as far as like your social media and what you're offering online right now? 'Cause I know you're doing some master classes and things too.
Yeah, every month we hold a free masterclass, and every month it changes. I shock
Mm.
myself with the things that I learn and come up with intuitively and from spirit. It is a beautiful way to work, to be able to be guided by the universe and share my gifts with the world. So every month we have the intuitive storytelling masterclass or the storytelling masterclass, and it's a free class and people can come along to that and connect with me. But I do all of my work on my Facebook profile, which is just Bridget Holder. I have that unusual spelling of my name. There is no T in it, there is no D in the middle, and everybody seems to get that wrong, even though it's
Isn't that a
sometimes
saint?
right in
Isn't it
front of
Saint
them.
Bridget?
It's
Isn't there a
Brigid.
saint with it? Yeah, Saint Bridget. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I was actually named after a nun. My mum had high hopes.
Sorry, mum.
Sorry to disappoint. All four of us that had the same parents were named after nuns, and she never got her wish granted in that respect.
Oh my gosh. And we didn't even talk, Bridget, about like obviously you have an accent, so obviously you're not American. So where are you living at?
I'm in Australia. We live in a small country town, which is about halfway between two capital cities in Australia, Sydney and Melbourne. So on the east side of the country, but not on the coast. We're inland on a rural property, and yeah, we run a few sheep on there. And I think it's funny because I don't see our place as a farm. We have 27 acres, and most people go, "Wow, that's amazing! What do you farm?" And I'm like, "Nothing.
Land?
It's just space. I love it. I walk around it with
Right.
my dogs. It's fantastic."
Awesome, awesome. And clearly you work with people all over the world, right?
Yes, I do. Yeah, we've got authors in many countries. Yeah, it's brilliant to see. Europeans as UK, America. Yeah, it's wonderful.
Awesome. And I think that's the benefit about this global community and global access of podcasting as well as being online because we can
Mm.
access people everywhere and it's just like as if you're in the next room.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I do love that too. And it's interesting to see who comes out that they say, "I don't know how I found you." Like I love that because, universe has connected us together and guided us to be in the same place, or for my information to come across their feed. I don't know where you came from. Like we weren't even friends on Facebook. It's just, yeah, a beautiful way to work.
Absolutely. So, okay, so there's one way. So obviously Facebook profile is the number one way to get a hold of you. And I'll have all that information in the show notes so people can find you. Is there any one last thing you'd like to leave for anyone contemplating, I have this story in me, but what do I do? Or something, the last minute thing you'd like to say to someone like that?
I think that if you're sitting on the fence about writing your story, whether you be writing your story for a chapter, a solo book, or you want to share it in a magazine article, or you just want to share it on social media, or you're ready to do something like a TED talk or a speaking gig where you want to share part of your story to allow yourself to connect with others in that deeper level, is to just do it. It's not as scary as you think once you start. And if you think you can't write, there's so many different apps out there that can help you go from voice to text. If you're a great speaker, you can voice to text yourself and then edit the writing, or have somebody else edit the writing for you. It is so easy to write a book these days that you really, I implore you to get on board and do it, because the change in you is going to be amplified by the change in others and the responses that you get, the feedback that you get from people who actually get to read your book.
Oh, I love that, and I had not even thought about, if I'm doing a presentation, that that's one way it can bring forth. That's
Mhm.
brilliant. I needed you to say that. Thank you, Bridget. We're done.
My
I'm good.
pleasure. My pleasure.
Thank you so much for coming on. I just absolutely adore you, and I'm coming to one of the intuitive storytelling classes soon, so I'm looking forward to diving in there. So I hadn't thought much. Well, I'm the same as a lot of people. I'm like, I don't like writing, and then of course, spirit's like, write this, and so I feel
Yeah.
there might be something stirring again inside of me, so it might be time to go there. So obviously I'm coming soon, so I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. Thanks very much, Teresa. I look forward to having you in the class. And thanks for having me on your show.
Absolutely. And thanks to all you listeners around the world who are tuning in to get some more good, enthusiastically spiritual insights, and listening in with Bridget Holder today, because she's got some amazing ways to bring forth your words into text or ebook or audiobook or whatever you're wanting to do. She can help you do it. And again, I'll have all that information in the show notes so you can check it out. And just remember that until next time, life is too short to not be enthusiastic about your unique journey. To keep the enthusiasm going, please like, subscribe, or comment below. We would love to hear from you.